Alright, so welcome back again. This vCenter server, in this video we are going to look, or we can say that we are going to look at the menus of the vCenter server. What are the option where we can see the option and how the GUI looks at. Now this is what the web interface looks like. So if you see that on the left hand side it says the host and the clusters and everything, data center will be shown up over here. And this is where if you have created any templates or any virtual machines running, everything will show up over here. And if you want to see the databases of your virtual machine, this is where you will see your ESXi host databases. And here we created the switches and everything. Whatever you want to see on the ESXi host, if you have created any switches, that is what you will be seeing over here. So currently in my inventory, there is nothing over here. No host has been added yet. Now over here you will see that it is a summary. There is a monitor, configure permission and different tabs over here. In the summary tab, as usual, it will show you what is the capacity, what are the updates available or not, if there is any scheduled maintenance and everything, is the vCenter is participating in high availability or not. This is what. And vCenter health, it shows good. That's good. Custom attribute, don't worry about it. Capacity and the usage of the CPU, and pretty much just a basic information. Now if I click on monitor, this is where you will see, and on the right hand side you will see that there are plugins already being deployed. So it is asking me to refresh the browser, so I will just refresh the browser. So it's a new install, so slowly it is installing the plugins and everything. So in the monitor, it will, here you can find all the logs, all the issues. If there are any triggered alarm, this is where you will see. In the task and event, whatever you have done, everything, all the audits will be happening over here. So you will see all the audits and the events. If there is any event happened, everything will be seen over here. Now session, that means with respect to communicating things at the backend, but since this is a vCenter server, there will be many services already running at the backend. Now security, there is nothing, no policies, nothing. So we did not create anything, so we don't worry about it. Interoperability, I'm not sure what this one is. This feature only works with vCenter appliance, has joined in a customer experience program. Okay, so we are not worried about it. Container volumes, that means if we are connecting, you see that providers Kubernetes, so it has an ability to connect to your existing infrastructure in Kubernetes and get those container storage details in this one. Skyline health, hmm. So it's asking me to join the customer experience improvement in order to get many more details, but since we are doing the lab, so we are least worried about it. Now next, in the configure thing, this is where you will see the general details and everything. If you just expand, if you keep on expanding, everything you will see as usual. All right. Next, licensing. So I do have a license. I think I will just get the license and I will install the license. Again, I will include the file, so don't worry about it. So I will click on assign license, new license. I will say the name, key will be this one, name will be vCenter lab license. Click on OK and we have assigned the license to it now. So once you assign the license, you see that all the modes are on now. So we are able to create the high availability, backup and restore, vSAN storage, networking, link mode and everything. Message of the day, if you want to enter any message for the day, you can just enter here, because when you have single sign-on, different people will be logged in, then this is what the message where they will see whatever you have provided. Advanced settings, I think we don't need to do anything in this one unless we are expert with the vCenter server. Authentication proxy, we don't have any proxy for authentication, so you don't worry. vCenter server high availability, we did not yet configure. Hopefully, if I am able to do it in any of the lab, I will do it at the end of this course. Now, trust authority, I'm not sure exactly what this one is. key providers. We don't worry about alarm definitions. Again, I think this one is like defining your own alerts and notification, nothing much. Schedule tasks if you want to schedule a task. Storage providers for now, VMware vSAN is already online, which is running. Virtual SAN storage, which is already running. So this is the storage I think which we have attached to the vCenter server, which is 500 or 600 GB one. Yes, and also one more thing I forgot, that you make sure that you, while installing vCenter server, you have 600 GB of hard disk. vSphere zone, I think this one is a new feature, but again, it's all related to the Kubernetes, so we are not worried about it. Now vSAN, this is the virtual networking, storage networking, which we will hopefully touch a base on this one. Now permission, again, those are permission like roles and responsibilities. Data center, I did not create any inventory yet, so there are no data centers, no data center folders. Hosts and clusters, still I did not create anything yet, so you will see nothing. No VMs because I did not create. I have not added any of those. Now data store, again, this data store is with respect to the ESXi host, which we still did not add it, but once we add it, we will see that one. And similar with the networking, again, we will see the same thing once we start adding the ESXi host. Linked vCenter server systems, we don't have any high availability vCenter servers yet, so that's why we don't see anything. Extensions, we do have Service Manager and vSphere ESX Agent Manager, which are required in order to have a communication. It acts as an API between vCenter Server and ESXi. Again, these are for the experts level thing and very advanced, so we are not worried about it yet. Update, so if we have any update of the, for example, if you want to patch up or if you want to upgrade any of the ESXi hosts, this is where you will come in. So with respect to vCenter server, these are the options you will see, and you will select the version and everything. Coming to the ESXi host, you will upload the image or patch, whatever it is, and you will upgrade the ESXi host from the vCenter server. So pretty much it's like a centralized management for ESXi host. Again, for the help, you will come back here and you will find options for the help. Now over here you can change the password. My preferences, if I click on that one, you will see language is default, 12-hour format or 24-hour format, whatever time you want. And console is like web console. So whenever you want to take access console for your virtual machine, you want to open the web console or you want to go with the remote console. So remote console is like a lightweight application. Again, you have to install. So I will select web console for now. Inventory, show VMs in host, and that's it. Now coming to the themes, now you can switch the theme between dark and light, but I think I prefer the dark one. Dark one is much better than the light. Coming to the actions over here, you see that you can create a new data center, new folder, assign the license, add permission, alarms, that's it. Now, coming to the left hand side options, you see that if you click on home, this is the overview of your vCenter server. And if you go to the shortcuts, this is where you can define your shortcuts. And also by default, vCenter server has provided some shortcuts, so you can just click on that option and go directly to that particular. Next will be the inventory. So we already know that this is the inventory. We still have nothing over here. And content library. Now, this is a good thing. We have to discuss about it. Now, coming to the content library. So what do you mean by the content library? Now, the thing is that I am installing Windows 10 machine. So in order to install the Windows 10 machine, I have to upload this ISO image to the ESXi client always. So what happens if I have more than 2, 3, and 4 means this 5 GB file should be uploaded to all the ESXi in order to, what do we say, create a virtual machine. So instead of having this kind of scenario, what we can do is that we can create a storage which known as a content library in the vCenter server. And in this vCenter storage, we can upload that Windows 10 image. So once this is been uploaded to this image, this content library is now a publisher. So that means the storage is available to be used by the ESXi host. So what we do is that we create this as a content library, and after creating the content library, we will upload the Windows 10 machine ISO to it, and we will make sure that that content library is a publisher. And after that, we will say to ESXi that you are now a subscriber. So in that way, what happens is like whenever you're deploying the new virtual machines for example, Windows 10 machine, you don't need to have that ISO image on your particular ESXi data store. You can just simply say to the EXI, go to the content library. Now, content library can have any name, so you will just ask them to go to that library. Within that library, you will select Windows 10 machine ISO image now, and after that, you will deploy. And here you will have an option whether you want immediately to download the images or folders or files. We don't want this option because whenever the ESXi subscribe to the storage, it will automatically download all the files, which we don't want. We only want when it is required. Now, I am deploying this Windows 10 machine means now Windows 10 ISO is required. So that is the only time that it will try to make sure that it is available locally, and after that it will deploy, and that's it. So in this way, it's like a centralized management. Content library serves as a very good source for the uh, hosting the images, files, and everything at one place. Workload management. So this is none of the hosts are connected to this vCenter server, so we still don't have anything. So we will look after it later on. Global inventory. So that is the global. That means if you have multiple vCenter servers, multiple ESXi hosts, data centers, cluster, this is where you will see with respect to your global topology or global visibility. Next, policies and profile. Again, you do have the VM storage policies by default defined. So if you like, you can define your own one. Customization specification policy. Currently, we don't have any policies and we do not create policies for that one because every virtual machine have their own set of requirements, and we it's pretty much difficult to create a baseline for that one. Host profile, again with the host profile, we can go ahead and create, extract the host profile or import the host profile. I think that should be related to the templates. So when we create a virtual machine, that's where we will create the templates and we will deploy the multiple VMs easily. Compute policy, that means the resources. So we don't have any policies as of now because since this is a lab and I don't think so we will be using much of the policies and profiles. Again, with the storage policy is also the same. By default, there are certain defined things, but for the lab, you do not require only in the production. Even in the production, very lessly you will be using that policies anyhow. Because in the production also things you don't want to test or trials out certain policies and everything, which will cause an issue for you. But until and unless you understand the policies, I don't recommend you to, what do we say, configure those or create or apply the policies. Now, auto deploy, I think this was first we have to create an image builder that is our template, so that we have to make sure that we have the virtual machines and everything. And after that, we can say to vCenter that I want this particular virtual machine to be auto deployed if the host goes down. Next, hybrid cloud services. So I don't have any cloud connectivity. So it's like connecting on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. Developer centers, don't worry about administrator now. So as we are the administrator, we can create the roles, responsibilities, your global access, licenses we can manage, client plugins. So these are the different options over here. Users and group, and this is where you can create the domain user or you can create the local user. So currently you see that I'm not able to add any user for now. If I go to groups, I'm able to add the groups, but I'm not able to add the. So because you see that you do have two domains, so that's why it is not allowing me to add any user on this particular domain. So if I select this one, it should allow me to add. Now when I click on add and if I say that user one password will be moise123 hash, description, new user. So I'm creating the user, but the problem is that if I go back to roles and responsibilities, I want to give that user roles and only read-only access. So I will say usage, there is nothing. So what I can do is that if I go to the users and group, if I select this user now, I have more option, nothing. Again, you see that I don't have any option to assign the role. So there might be a different way to assign, but before it was pretty much straightforward that you have the user created, then automatically it will ask you to assign the role. But here you see that it is not allowing. So click on new. Okay, that's the new role. So I want to allow the read-only access and usage is only by this one. Description, no privileges used by this only. vSphere local group admins. So you see that there is a group called read only user. So if I go back to users and group, click on group. So I should see read only user. No. Okay, external ID licenses, DC admin, say read only. And I will add the members as this one. Click on add. Click on refresh. No, so it's not allowing me to create that one. Should be creating, but anyhow. Okay. So these are the default ones, and if I come back here, if I go to groups, do I have the group? No, it's not creating that one. That's fine. Now coming to the group now, I have created a user one, so I will just delete that one because I'm not able to assign the roles for now. Now configuration, it is asking me again for the Active Directory and everything, so we don't worry about it because for that one I need to look into it, why it is the way might be a different now. How we configure the Active Directory users, how we assign the roles might be a little bit different now. Again, certificate management. So by default, there is a self-signed certificate by the vCenter server. So that's why we see the warning. That should be fine. That's nothing to do. Until unless you are doing in the lab, that's perfectly fine. But if you're doing in the production, make sure that you remove that certificate error. So you simply go and install that certificate. So where I can see that certificate. Yep. Uh, See that this is the root SSO certificate. I think you can download this certificate or click on this one, click on this one. Yeah, you should be able to download the certificate and install it in your certificate authority of your PC, and after that this error will be gone. So yep, it's not giving me the option. But that's all with the certificate. So once you install the certificate, the self-signed certificate in your certificate authority of the PC, your connection should be good. But in the production, you will have your domain certificate installed over here. You will issue a new certificate to the vCenter server and you will install that certificates. So now coming back to the home, coming back to the inventory, and that's it. So if I click now, that the options will be gone and you will see the only this web interface. So if I click on this one, and I think I can also adjust this one, that is pushing this one to it. Alright, so now I do have one more thing, that is settings button over here. This is where you can select what you want to see. And at the bottom, if there is any task performed over here, you will see the task over here, all the tasks. Alright, so that's it for the vSphere vCenter server GUI web interface navigation, and this should help you and give an idea what is happening. I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.